In studio, I am joined by development economist Kalnisha Singh to expand the conversation. A very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
As we listened to some of the highlights of that discussion, really one cannot understate the importance of today's address, but of course the focus being on the country's economy. We've heard President Cyril Ramaphosa speaking about the green shoots of an emerging economic recovery, like of course the sovereign credit rating by S&P Global being a plus for South Africa, which essentially shows that the country is in a far more better state than it was in the last decade. What are your expectations ahead of the address?
It's really interesting when we talk about things at an economic level. We often fail to acknowledge that any economy is only as strong as its weakest link, right? And in South Africa, we do have lots of structural reform still to work on before we are able to openly claim that we have a strengthened economy, right? And those sort of structural reforms that we are hoping to see is very much at a local level. Much like the previous guests have mentioned, the great work that has been done at a systematic change level, the fact that we have an improved credit rating, the fact that we don't have, or we seem to not have load shedding anymore, the fact that there's an improvement in our logistics supply chain, speaks to what the sort of international market wants to see, but it doesn't necessarily speak to our lived reality every day as South Africans or as people living in South Africa.
And I suppose that's a very important point, because the president's most important task will be to do just that, translate it, link the recent good news to the lived reality of millions of South Africans who, for one, a big part of it is the unemployment factor, where young people are saying, we've got the degrees, but we have no jobs, or we don't have the degrees and we still have no jobs.
100%. And I think what's really interesting this year is that we're having this conversation while everyone's starting to prepare for their political campaigns for the municipal elections this year, right? It's the first municipal election since the government of national unity. Our municipalities are in crisis, we all know this. We're experiencing widespread water shortages across the country, service delivery failures in terms of sanitation, service delivery failures that are affecting the middle class in a way that they've never affected the middle class before, right? It shows the cracks to everybody in the system. And that's not necessarily to speak directly to the crime situation, which we know is a bubbling volcano of stuff that's about to penetrate the surface, right, which we've heard already. I think it's really important for our president to sort of balance the international focused narrative, the stuff that he needs to say in order to manage the reputation for the country, in order to attract foreign investment, but also really speak to the people that he's supposed to be serving, right, which is us. It's the people of South Africa. What are we going to do to address those burning issues and the cracks in our foundations here at home, as much as we're going to be inviting foreign investment in?
An important one, of course, just as we wrap up, of course, is the water issue. The water issue is in fact not just an issue but a crisis, and we've seen from the numerous South Africans who've come out of their homes to say we have no water.
100%. It is a human...
Okay, I'm going to actually have to ask for us to hold that for now as we try and re-establish our connection. Of course, we continue this conversation in just a short while, speaking there to economic development economist, Kalnisha Singh, giving us a sense of the build-up on the expectations on the economic front insofar as the State of the Nation address is concerned this evening. Stay with us.